I usually like to start these with a quote, and it's been decades since I've read it, so my memory is not that good. I've run out of quotes, and nobody's guessed what I'm quoting for. So, sorry, no more quotes. I'm going to be reviewing Dungeons of Dread. This is a reprint of several modules, the S series. For a while back, Wizards of the Coast reprinted in a deluxe edition the first edition books, and I gave somebody as a present the Player's Handbook, and it was really nice. It had gold on the edge of the pages. It had a little ribbon with this. It's just white pages, but if you feel it's embossed, you can feel the texture of this here. And so it's still pretty good. It's just not as good as the earlier ones. But let's go through it. So this does the S series, and this picture is kind of blurry. So first is the Tomb of Horrors, which, most of these I never bought for various reasons. The main one being that in the old days, modules were expensive, and I couldn't afford them, so I didn't buy that many modules. I mostly did homebrew. And I saw the Tomb of Horrors, but I didn't get the reputation until the 21st century for me. But the Tomb of Horrors came with an illustrated book, and I believe this book was in blue. That was what they used to foil people who would steal things with a copy machine, is I put them in blue, which only worked for a little while, but the pictures are really good quality. There's one in particular I wanted to... here it is. So this picture, if you look closely, you can see some adventurers down here, and you see the thing. In blue, I could not see the adventurers at all. I could not make out what this was supposed to be, but in black and white, I can see what it is now. So, this module has a reputation for being a party killer, that it's supposed to be super dangerous. I've never actually run it. Now, the next one, S2, White Plume Mountain, I heard that this had Elric in it, which turned out to be not true, but there was a sword that resembled Stormbreaker in it. And I was not able to find this when it was new anywhere. People would snap these up as soon as they went on sale. It has a really good map. A lot of this stuff is not in the dungeon, but this would make a really good starting location for a campaign. There's also kind of interesting things on this map. It's got really good pictures. And so I'll show off the pictures. This is really cool. It's like this flume of water going through midair. And this is a pretty cool setup with this inverted pyramid with different layers of monsters you have to fight your way through. Now there's some new monsters in here, like the Kelpie. And here's the map of the dungeon. It's pretty. Looks like a pretty interesting dungeon. I've never run it, but it looks like lots of fun. Now the next one is S3, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. I've reviewed this previously, so I'm not going to go into the whole thing. I just wanted to show you the book. So it has a book of illustrations of things that are in here, but some of the illustrations which were in color in the original are in black and white here. I'm going to show those to you so you can compare. here's the original. And here it is in black and white. It doesn't look bad, but you know, this is a super deluxe edition collection. Shouldn't it have color pages? I couldn't spring for the color pages. Okay. So the next one. Here it is in color. Isn't that beautiful? And black and white. It's still beautiful, but not what it could be. Here this is in color and black and white. Finally, the Froghemoth in color versus black and white. Isn't that a ripoff? They did, to give Wizards of the Coast credit, they did publish these color pictures on their website so that you could print them out if you really wanted them. I'm not sure if that's still the case, though. So, we'll skip past, you know, the original pictures of the maps were in black and white, and so are these. There is somebody who has done color maps of these, especially this level here with the jungle. And they look really cool, but the problem is he wants to sell them, which he can't do because of copyright problems. He doesn't want to give them away. And Wizards of the Coast won't pay up for them. They would be a really good addition to a super deluxe version of this module. Maybe the 5th edition will have that. Okay, I've skipped past the beginning of this. Okay, so the last module is The Lost Caverns of Tsojcanth. Now, I've heard a lot of people rave about how much they like this module. It starts off with wilderness encounters, and the map, I'm going to find it, there's some interesting thing, but I don't know where the map is, but the map, I can't tell what of these keyed areas is where for a lot of these. For some of these I can, some of them I can't. Can't tell where things are. And with these old school hex crawls, there were like 6 or 7 things and a lot of empty hexes. And so it's a wonder that without the DM nudging them, the players ever found anything that was keyed on the hexes. So eventually you find the Lost Caverns, which has a whole bunch of monsters next to each other with no reason at all. Monsters that don't seem like they would go together, but nope, here they are, right next to each other. And there's this labyrinth. Modern players, I've heard some new school players complain that what they're used to is having the DM draw the entire map of the dungeon before they even begin, and the players can see it from the very beginning. But in the old days, we did this theater of the imagination. So the DM would be describing what you see, all the twists and turns here, and that would make it a long, long time for it to go through a maze that has hardly anything in it. Okay, I'm going to show off the picture some more. Bunch of unrelated monsters. But the big boss is this lady here. Here's this map. The Dungeon Master's Wilderness map. And you can see some things are keyed with letters, some with numbers. And there's a bunch of things that are not keyed, and I don't know where they go. Yeah, so and here's the map of the caverns. And the caverns have some aquatic areas and some that are dry. It'd been nice if they'd put the aquatic areas in blue. Here's the player's wilderness map, which has less detail. And there's a bunch of supplementary information. There's some new monsters. Some of them I've heard of outside this. Some of them are not so well known. Demi-Lich. Yeah. Well, this is a really nice picture. And the Darrows appear in here. Some of the other genies that are not in the monster manual originate with this module. And there's some artifacts, which is nice. And there's some new cleric spells here. And new magic user spells. And some of these are things that later appeared in Unearthed Arcana. And there's this whole thing about magical diagrams, and summoning circles, magical properties of gems. Anyway, it's a good book. I recommend it. I've run one of the modules in here, and it was a lot of fun. That's Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. The first two look like a lot of fun, but the Caverns of Tsojcanth, the caverns itself are kind of nice, but the hex crawl I have problems with. So, I recommend this. Go out and get it.